Okay, welcome everyone to the Investment Committee, Wednesday, 27th of May. Just want to declare the meeting open, and as I say, welcome everyone. And we're going to have an adjournment in 5 minutes. We'll do a couple of jobs here, welcomes, apologies, declarations, and we'll adjourn for 10 minutes because council was late finishing the last meeting, and then people can rejoin us after 10 minutes. So just want to welcome everyone. Any apologies today from our committee members? No. Somebody want to move that they accept there's no apologies? Jeff Young, seconded.
Me.
Eric Roy, thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Declarations of interest. Everyone comfortable with declarations of interest as they have been recorded? Yep. Okay, do we have to move that? No. All right. Any public forum petitions and deputations? Is there anything to bring forward? No. No, nothing. Okay, let's do the confirmation of the minutes for the 18th of February. Are they a true and accurate set of minutes from our last meeting?
Mr. Chairman, we've got me as a member there, so it needs to be altered as being also present rather than a member of the committee.
Okay.
It also occurs in the terms of reference as well. It needs to be changed.
Terms of reference, I thought have been changed.
Okay, so for the minutes, we'll remove Morris as a
For the
present.
terms of reference, you have been removed.
And also present.
It moves now to also present. Yep.
I'm happy to move for them.
Happy to move those with the changes. Jeremy, second, Eric Roy, thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Okay, well, with that, we might take a break and let councillors have their lunch, and we will rejoin again in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Excellent.
It's a really good meeting, Andrew.
You can get
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Councillors are fed and watered, so we can crack on with the meeting. We'll just keep moving through the agenda. We've got the adopted terms of reference here. Any discussion from councillors in relation to these? Okay. So we see you're not listed in the members there, or are you?
No, he's not listed in the members. I did take it out.
Yep. So no, that's all right.
One correction, Chair, is that Ewan is spelled with an E rather than an A.
It was the previous person who wrote that. I will correct it.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Okay, noting that spelling mistake, if councillors are happy to adopt these, someone move that.
I will.
Right, Councillor Roy, seconded by Councillor Matheson, all those in favour?
Right.
You. Any notifications of extraordinary urgent businesses? If not, any questions? If not, Chairman and councillors report. I don't really have a report. There's a lot of work on. It will be covering off in PX here in relation to call it macro strategy or macro investment strategy. So looking forward to that and welcoming many councillors that want to participate in that as they see fit. Looking forward to that. Any other councillors need to bring anything up? Okay, we'll move on to 10.1 at the end, the appointment of deputy chair. I think this paper is well constructed as to the reasons and everything received report and move to the deputy chair. You got nominated your Maxton?
I was thinking. Speaking to Eric.
Okay, councillor Fail, seconded that, which Fail. Sandra, you have.
No, I was just going to move it. I'm
Are you
happy.
going to move it?
I
Okay.
missed my opportunity.
Sorry. Okay, any discussion on that? You have received nomination?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, if you could do a pitch, you're in your skills. No.
Quite eager.
Okay, all those in favour of accepting you as deputy?
Aye.
Against? Excellent, welcome you. I look forward to working with you. Okay, next we have 10.2, the investment update. This is an information paper. Patrick, do you want to speak to it?
Yes, thank you. I'll make some brief remarks on the paper. So the key call out really is the funds performed on a year-to-date basis, despite the geopolitical challenges and oil shocks. Funds grown from 34.3 to 37.5 million on a year-to-date basis. It amounts to $3.2 million of growth for 9.3% return year to date. The majority of that growth, 2.6 million, is due to changes in the capital value of the portfolio, i.e. the capital gains. The graph on the top of page 16 shows that the value of our portfolio unwound in March due to the geopolitical volatility. If it wasn't for that correction, the year-to-date returns would have been higher still. Most of the unwinding that occurred in March, which you won't see in the report, has subsequently corrected in April and May as global equity markets have remained confident despite closure of the Strait and conflict. The components of our portfolio have outperformed their respective benchmarks on a year-to-date basis by a weighted average of 1.72%. There's a particular call out here that global equities, which comprise about 25% of our portfolio, has outperformed their benchmark, which is the MSCI AC World Index, by plus 5.73%. And overall, the portfolio has outperformed the respective benchmarks by plus 2.89% over the last 3 years and plus 4.05% over the last 5 years. 9 months into the year, the portfolio has achieved 1.4 million more than our full year annual plan budget. on a year-to-date basis, income has been reinvested in the fund rather than withdrawn in the fund for operating expenditure. Portfolio average return over the last 5 years is 7.75%, which is well above our site target of 5.5%. The portfolio remains compliant with the asset allocation policy limits. There's a slight overweighting to NZ and short equity with a slight underweighting to Australia for these offshore bonds. The overall picture is continued positive growth.
Thank you, Patrick. Scott, do you want to make any comments? It is important to look at this through the different time horizons, isn't it? Because as you quite rightly referenced, geopolitical tensions, wars in Iran, etc. There is periods where markets do get impacted, but those longer time horizons, do they give us confidence? Scott, do you want to speak to them?
Yeah, I guess part of the discussion with the state itself is around investment strategy about council generating investor on these things. And it's important to have in this generational view, and that's why you have an investment manager like in this case JBS that they manage the portfolio will go through some of those understandings. If you back to sort of in April or May, there's more than a significant return around what was there in a few months anyway. So council's in a good long-term position. You get treasury on these things to continue to jump out the wrong time, jump in for the time. So sitting there and doing what we've done is the right approach, and you can take from the contrary. I think this is one of the value pieces you can take out of the JV relationship, or any investment manager relationship with JV. There's a market commentary and the macro issues that are there, and how they are addressing that through the portfolio, how they're reacting, how they're not reacting. Because that is the long-term view. You really want to try and go into those things that you're thinking about in the context of things.
Any questions or comments from councillors?
I think the adage that's been used lately, Mr. Chairman, is panic slowly. That's what it
I just think it is timely to spend some time, especially with live streaming, to talk about this. Because there is some disciplines. Of course, we can all worry through geopolitical events, but looking through time horizons and disciplines around strategic asset allocations and sticking to those disciplines basically does give a confidence that markets are what markets are. And if we attempt to second guess on any given meeting, I suspect we would second guess inventory. Sandra.
If I look at this report, I was actually pleasantly surprised when we look at both the year, 3 years and 5 years. In each of those time horizons, the investment manager has outperformed benchmark. And furthermore, when you look at the individual lines of asset classes, most of those are positive relative to benchmark as well. So that doesn't mean they're doing exceedingly well in one class to make up for failures or bad bets other places. Consistently, they're being disciplined, sticking to the investment strategy in terms of portfolio allocations and delivering a good return that's above benchmark. So I look at that and go, I'd be quite comfortable if that was my own personal funds, that they were doing a good job for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, but just in regards to Australian equities, you consider that's possibly corrected in the two slot of the late business.
Not all markets are in the same at the moment, so the best performing market in the last 12 months is emerging markets. They've been the worst performing market for the last 7 or 8 years. So, again, jumping around all the time between markets isn't necessarily the right behaviour, I think, as reflecting in what Mike Sandra has made. Your advisors you have, you pay for them to be active. And what that means is they don't just put every stock in the portfolio and maximize each of them, but they're trying to work out which ones are better than others, and that gives them outperformance over and above those benchmarks. So the fact that they are is good. Yes, they have the ability to go higher or lower on Australian equities versus others at different times as they see those markets buttoning as well. So you're getting benefit. I think it's important to constantly test that, right? Because past performance is no guarantee of future performance. That's a quote from investment managers. And so that's why it's important, I think, on a quarterly basis, you just look and see where you are, not for the quarterly's performance, but for that long-term performance, see that they're actually doing well on a whole.
Councillor Young.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want to, is there any reason why we've got quite a high percentage, 28% in the New Zealand fixed interest? They're never a very good performing sort of an asset, but I realise that we do need some of it.
So the reason you've got both growth stocks and income stocks or defensive stocks is that when council is set the SIPO, what we're investing in is we're investing council reserves. Right, and some of those reserves, and we'll have a discussion about reserves later as well. Some of those reserves council might spend in the next 3 years, in which case they are going to be quite conservatively invested. Others, effectively, we hope it's after they've happened, so they're able to be quite long dated and they're able to quite dated. And your SIPO is a blend of all of those reserves to give you a rating. So that basically dictates that we need to have some defensive stocks. The question of international versus domestic, I think JB Ware demonstrated in this case that they can actually get a higher return at domestic fixed interest than they can out of international. I think if you have a significant portfolio, it's probably need to buy cities just because of the scale of the New Zealand economies.
Happy with that?
Yep, that'll be good.
Jeremy?
Just follow on from Cassandra, if I had $1 and invested in this, I think even over the last 10 years, I've always been pleasantly surprised what they, how the performance of the investments, and it's, there's been some big ups and downs through COVID and all those things, but generally, if you've left your money there, it's, looked after itself. So, it's good to see where it is, and there will be some huge ups and downs, but just got to be patient and get on with it.
Okay, from a as new chair, I'd like to compliment the council on the construct of the investments, disciplines around SIPO, strategic asset allocations, and that really today. So, okay, there's a recommendation here, the investment committee resolved to see the report of the investment update for JB Ware portfolio 31st March, moved by Jeremy McLeod, seconded by Councillor Young. All those in favour? Thank you. Okay, let's move on to 10.3. This is our annual activity plan. Patrick, do you want to speak to this? And looking forward, if there's any pieces we are missing from the community that we're concerned with.
A couple of call outs. So the long-term accommodation and the property long-term accommodation business, that business case is essentially paused. So probably not sensible to bring it to committee at this point. We do, in terms of learning from our land, there's probably a contextual information there that we should bring forward to you. And apologies, we didn't do that for this meeting. We do have a report on how we can start to improve the return for our land, which will come up like an agenda, but we can bring that.
Okay. Yeah.
No, sorry.
Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. While you're sitting, I thought it was okay, so Sandra.
I've just noticed a challenge with the Southport briefing in-person timing at 3 September, which is not far in advance of the port's shareholders general meeting, and that perhaps there should be a special, even if it's an online meeting of the committee, that allows a more fulsome presentation once those results have been released to market, or that it's at a completely different time and it can be a different nature of conversation.
So the calendar that Southport gave me is there's something coming out in August. Is that the half year report or?
In terms of, okay, so that's been worked with Sharon, is that date?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's that, and so we tried to get it as close, and this was as close as we could get it for another meeting.
Okay. We
But
might
if
just
there's an
have
issue,
to
then
pay that by ear a little bit.
yeah, if we need to play that by ear, we will.
Okay.
Okay, Cassandra, can you and Patrick work on that in relation to just the announcement times and the appropriateness? And then if we need to do a special online meeting, let's facilitate that. Are you comfortable with that? So, excellent. Scott?
Let's note too that he's picking up on the young's comments earlier. As we get to year end, given that the cycle is based on all the reserves, the finance staff sitting in the back there just to make sure that all of those reserves are updated, because that is change potentially the weighting of each of the reserves and the amount of value that sits underneath, and what the asset allocation is. I don't anticipate it change materially, but that review should take place and then feed into probably that next meeting, because that will be in line with the year end functions.
So you're saying that you'd like a report on the
We're bringing
reserves?
up that cycle through, probably just look at where the reserves are and what is the, I guess, the conservative, aggressive kind of nature of each of those holdings, which may or may not change what the SAA level is, strategic asset allocation level is for the overall cycle.
So in layman's language, and that is funded as a sum of the parts of a bunch of reserves, you're going to go away and look at the requirements and liquidity aspects of it to factor into that. Okay, cool. So yeah, that'll be done for next meeting. Anything else? If not, we will receive the annual activity reports, and we'll move towards doing that. Councillor Young, second Thank you, Matheson. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Any extraordinary or urgent business? No. If not, we might move to publicly exclude then. Rebecca, are you happy to give information or read out why we are publicly excluded?
In accordance with section 48(1) of the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act of 1987, and particular interest protected by section 7 of that act, that the public be excluded from the following parts of the proceedings of this meeting, namely the confirmation of the public excluded minutes of the investment committee meeting of the 18th of February and the 4th of May.
Move. Councillor Roy move, seconded Councillor Matheson. All those in favour? Aye. Against? No. Okay, let's move to public excluded. Thank you. Okay, good to go.